Hey folks, Robin Robbins here, founder of technologymarketingtoolkit.com, but most of you already know that already. I'm here with a very good friend and partner of ours, Danny Jenkins, who's the CEO of ThreatLocker. And this is going to be kind of fun and interesting to do this interview because I'm going to challenge him in a minute on something I think that's rather controversial, but I think it's really an important point that MSPs need to be discussing and need to dive into more right now when they're protecting their clients from all kinds of ransomware and threats that are out there. So Danny, thanks for being here with me. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Robin.
All right. Now, there might be some people who don't know you, don't know what ThreatLocker is. So real quick, who are you? What does ThreatLocker do?
I'm Danny Jenkins. I'm CEO of ThreatLocker, and ThreatLocker takes a different approach to endpoint security. Instead of trying to block bad stuff, and I say trying, we block everything that you don't explicitly trust, and we make that really easy. And I'll leave it at that.
Okay. All right. Well, the thing I want to kind of challenge you on is when you and I were talking, and we've talked multiple times about cybersecurity, and you've got a really interesting take on it. You flat out said that antivirus sucks. So what do you mean by that? Does that mean that MSPs should not be using antivirus anymore, or what do you mean specifically?
So here's the thing, antivirus, I mean, and I'll say it, it's just pure garbage. I mean, we all use it and we all need to use it, but let's face it, how many MSPs have you spoken to that haven't had a client with ransomware? And every single one of them is spending dollars after dollars on antivirus and anti-malware and endpoint detection and remediation and various technologies like that. And the bottom line is it's just not doing the job because they can't. The way that antivirus works is by looking for bad stuff based on previous patterns of bad stuff or based on signatures or heuristics or various algorithms. Ultimately, it fails all the time. And that's why everybody keeps getting ransomware.
Okay. So you're not saying that, well, let me ask you this. So MSPs, should they be putting antivirus on the machines or not?
So antivirus has been on computers back since the 90s, and it's probably as integral to the computer as the hard drive is at this point. But if you're relying on antivirus, if you go to sleep at night thinking my antivirus is going to stop today's threats and it's going to stop me getting ransomware, you're really either delusional or naive.
Right. Okay. So you're taking a different approach now. Your approach and the way you're recommending MSPs change their approach with cybersecurity is a default deny approach. So what is that?
So the idea of default deny, which has been used in federal government enterprise for a long time, is you don't rely on your antivirus to block bad stuff. Essentially, you create a list of what's allowed, and then you block everything else. The challenge has always been for MSPs is this is really difficult to set up and configure and manage and handle updates. And that's where ThreatLocker has taken this enterprise approach of default deny and zero trust and brought it down to the MSP level where they can deploy it to small businesses and they don't need a huge team of people to manage it. And then we've even extended beyond that because it's not just bad things that hurt us, it's good things. We're using Zoom today, we're talking over Zoom. Only a month ago, there was vulnerabilities in Zoom where people could weaponize it and use it against you. So not only do you want to control what can run, stop bad malware, stop bad software that you don't want, TeamViewer if you don't want it, but also control what it can do. So I'm letting Zoom run, but can it access my files? Absolutely not.
Okay, so that's what it does. It basically says it's not just, it's kind of like, I think you and I, when we talked before, it's like if we were trying to do security for a mall, and the mall has all these entrances and there's people coming in and we have a guard standing there and he's trying to spot who's bad, who's good based on their behavior, based on how they're dressed and so forth, right? And that's really difficult because like you said, the threats are behaving like normal applications and you know, it just, and that's why antivirus isn't working. So kind of the way I think I understand the way you're saying is you close every entrance to the mall and you only allow those who are credentialed to come in the first place. So you don't have anything open policy. It's only certain things or certain people are allowed in. And then once they're in, they're only allowed in certain sections. So if they're supposed to be if they're supposed to be in the food court, you know, you're going to flag them like they're not allowed to go into this store or that store. Maybe like a house analogy, like if you allow them into the foyer, they're allowed to stay in the foyer, but if they try to go to the kitchen, they're blocked. Is that
Yeah.
kind of the right way? Am I describing?
Absolutely. Don't let them in, and once they're in, only let them where they're supposed to be. So we let, my daughter wants to bring her boyfriend around. He's in the house. He's in the living room. He's not going near her bedroom.
That's a better analogy right there.
Yeah.
Okay. So one other question. What's one thing every MSP needs to do to make sure they can recover their clients from a ransomware attack that they're most likely not doing right now?
Okay, so first of all, in 2016, I think NATO declared cyberspace as a war zone. We're actually at war. This is serious stuff on what's happening. If you're recovering from a ransomware attack, you have failed. And that's not to say you're bad because you failed, because everybody fails at least once. But if you're not doing something to make sure you don't fail again, you've got a problem. The idea of recovery, the idea of saying I'm relying on my backup to secure my system is crazy. Backup is the worst case scenario. That is, we're in a bad situation. We failed at our job and our clients failed at protecting their business, and we need to make sure this doesn't happen again. So if you, of course, make sure you've got a backup. So if you do fail, you have some chance of recovery in you're in damage control. But the better thing to do is to make sure it doesn't happen in the first place. Make sure you have proper security practices in place. Make sure people can't run things that they shouldn't be able to do, that servers are locked down and workstations are locked down, that applications like Zoom, like Office can't go out and call PowerShell and run scripts to turn on BitLocker and encrypt your files, or VirtualBox can't download and encrypt files on your behalf. The better scenario is not to lose the war and then try and recover from it, but to win the war and to stand up the defenses properly in the first place.
Gotcha. Okay. So if people want to learn more about ThreatLocker, they go to your website, right? www.threatlocker.com. But I think you also have a really good piece, a good white paper, a good piece of data and information, a marketing piece that a lot of MSPs are wanting. What is that and where do they get it?
So if you go to threatlocker.com/Robin, you can see a list of our resources. One of those resources is the white paper on less hackable for small businesses. And it really talks about how, as a small business owner or as an MSP representing a small business owner, because that's what an MSP is ultimately doing, representing their client, you can make sure your environments are secured and you're not just hoping that you're not going to be attacked. It's a great resource. It's great for you, but it's also great for you to share with your customers. If you want to co-brand it or make some changes to fit into your own policies, you can go ahead and download an editable version there as well.
Okay. All right. Very cool. So again, guys, if you want more about ThreatLocker, threatlocker.com. The free report, go to threatlocker.com/Robin, ROBIN, and that's the less hackable for small business owners. It's a great resource, and I know a lot of MSPs are downloading that, so make sure you go get your copy today. So, Danny, thank you. This is great. I'm very excited to talk to you because I think your approach is unique and one that, I think we got to figure out how to get ahead of the hackers, and I think this is a really smart way of doing that.
Thank you, Robin.